Yes, Mr. Mngomezulu.
Thank you, my lord. So, Colonel, did you get the tape?
Oh, I see.
Just to display it. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how to demonstrate this, and who can we use to assist us with the demonstration of these measurements. Can we use the interpreter, my lord? Mr. Jonas? Just to take the measurement from the floor to 1.3 and to 1.6, that's all.
Oh, you may not use a court official. Use any other person.
That's for completeness. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, before I proceed, did you take the measurement of the deceased body?
On the deceased body?
Yes.
Meaning the height of the deceased?
The height of the deceased. It's 1 point. We can't use the accused. Who can we use?
Mr. Mngomezulu, what do you want to demonstrate?
The height of the deceased was 1.77.
1 point. My lord, actually I consulted with our ballistic expert.
Yeah, what does he say?
Now, my lord, may I just address the court? He says, according to him, I even indicated to my colleague.
According to?
I have even indicated to my colleague, Advocate Baloyi, that it does not dispute the trajectory. The measurements are consistent with his findings. So I was of the idea that we can just ask for the sake of completeness, but I can withdraw that question as well.
No, you don't have to withdraw anything. I just want to understand, what do you want to demonstrate?
Yes, I want to check if that 1.34 was the exact measurement from the floor to the entrance wound.
How do you demonstrate that? Because you've got to get a person with what's the
1.7
the height of the deceased?
The height of the deceased was 1.77.
Yeah, get a person with that height. I don't know where you're going to get him. And then you can say he must demonstrate how he located the wound on the chest and the exit wound at the back. Fine.
Yeah, there's something that I wanted to demonstrate actually, my lord. I'll try to see how can I secure somebody with the height of 1.7. Is it 1.77?
1.77.
Yes. I'm not sure how. Yeah. From speed how? Yeah, 1.2. Yeah, 1.2. 2.1. Sorry, my lord, may I? It will be difficult to get the person now.
Actually, your laser, ask him. The laser is more accurate. It will actually foretell what you can't prove. Because he'll put it on where it says 1.77 and beam the light. Now you want to do it with Brugger's measurement.
Now, we can use both, my lord. We can use the laser just to give a guideline. May I request the witness to use the laser, you know?
Yeah, if you want him to use the laser, fine.
Because it's difficult to get the person with such a height. You know.
But for my edification, what is this exercise in aid of? Because the evidence is clear. The deceased sensor was shot from the front.
Yes.
And this is his evidence. The alleged shooter was a bit taller than Sonzo. And the trajectory of the fire or the bullet went downwards. Is that not what you said, sir?
My lord, the entrance wound is a contact shot in the chest.
That's
it's higher than the exit wound at the back.
That's the point. So the trajectory
yes.
It's a downward trajectory.
But my concern is that the deceased was not standing upright. He was slightly bending forward. Do you agree with me, according to your observation?
My lord, it's difficult to say that he was bending a little bit front or to the front or was standing up straight. Because if you look at the trajectory, if he's standing up straight, the entrance is just a little bit higher than that. The minute he bends down, it changes the trajectory completely, because when the body bends to the front, your trajectory can be a little bit straight.
Yeah.
And if it's a little bit straight, it doesn't fit to the trajectory or the bullet damage on the door. Because the damage on the door, it will not be in the same level as your entrance and exit wound. So what I could say is most likely was standing up straight, where it enters at the front at the 1.36 and 1.26 at the back, 1.34 at the front,
1.26
at the back, and then the door is 1.2. So
Yeah.
it's a downward trajectory, and between the deceased and the door, there's a space, there's an opening. So
Yes.
on that opening, it allows the bullet to travel a little bit down with about 6 centimeters, if you compare. Because if it was against if this bag was against the door, the trajectory that doesn't fit. So he has to move a little bit to the front to create a space where the bullet can get the grace of losing about 6 centimeters to hit the door.
Mr. Jonas, must I proceed? All right. So, when I was listening to your evidence in chief, you cannot rule a possibility that there was a struggle over there between the deceased and the shooter. Can you rule the possibility that there was a struggle?
My lord, since the deceased was shot in a contact shot, it's a loose contact shot. So in a loose contact shot, you cannot rule out the possibility that the deceased hands could have been on the firearm, or there could have been a struggle between the deceased and the shooter.
Yeah, the probabilities could be two in relation to what I'm going to tell you. If there was a struggle, between the deceased and the shooter, especially on the damage on the floor, and you said it was approximately 90 degrees.
That's correct, my lord.
Yes. So the probability could be, if there was a struggle, the firearm could have been facing down. As a result, a 90-degree shot was fired. Can we rule?
In that instance, where the shot is at 90 degrees to the ground,
Yes.
the firearm will be facing downwards. There's no
Correct.
other direction that it will face. It will be facing downwards. So to say that the distance between the ground and the firearm cannot be determined, but it was definitely facing downwards.
The second possibility, that the probability that I want to put in a form of your evidence could be that if there was a struggle between the deceased and the shooter, was on the level of a shoulder. A 90 degrees also could be a possibility to strike on the ground, on a level of a shoulder. If they were standing upright, maybe they were fighting for or whatever way they were fighting for, but on a level of a shoulder, and a firearm is facing downwards. Could that possibility exist, that at that 90 degrees was shot on that level?
My lord, I cannot comment on the position of the firearm, whether it was at shoulder level. If it's at shoulder level, to turn it at 90 degrees, it's difficult. But if the hand is down, on this facing down, this is the most likely it could have been the position. But at this end, and then you shoot down at 90 degrees, it's difficult. It's almost impossible to do that.
Okay. Now let's proceed to where we ended before lunchtime. Then you proceeded to accused number 3, where he was, I think he was Johannesburg Correctional
Number
Services.
3 was at Johannesburg Correctional Services.
Yes. You did the same exercise with Brigadier Kininda.
That's correct, ma'am.
Was he present? Was Brigadier Kininda present?
Brigadier Kininda was present. My lord, I just want to rectify. I think I've confused the two incidents. At Valeria, we met first in the office, and then we went to at Pretoria North. Brigadier Kininda called me, and I met Mokano and someone else. I can't remember who was there, but I can recall that Brigadier was not there.
Being a counsel, I'm sorry, Mr. Colonel Mangena. I'll just say it without even shame. I'm a counsel. I'll just tell you that in Sizulu, I'll take what you said first.
It's fine, but it's what I can recall now. What I'm saying, that I can recall that he was not there.
You had a chance for the whole hour to recall your evidence. You never said that in your evidence in chief. You never said that on the records. never said that. You're just fabricating it now.
No,
During lunchtime now, you think, no, that's not true.
My Lord.
Please, my Lord, we've been through this. We've referred to the relevant portions of the record, namely page 53 of the record on the 30th of August 2023. Because my learned friend should just revisit the record.
My Lord, the witness confirmed that he was with Brigadier Gininda at Pretoria North in one of the offices at the station. I'll just leave it for argument. That is on record. Whether he's fabricating or not, I'll make it as a submission during my argument. Let's just pass.
That's not what the witness said, my Lord. He said at Villeria, not at Pretoria North.
Mr. Baloyi, we'll just rewind it if the court so pleases. Let's move to accused number 3. You also did the same exercise.
That's correct, my Lord.
But there's something that you suggested, which did not come from Gininda. After you concluded all these exercises you were performing on the heights of the accused, there's something that you suggested to look for any injury on the leg. Am I correct?
That is correct, my Lord.
You are not the investigating officer in this case, correct?
I'm not the investigating officer, but if it's ballistic related, and I've asked that, I will do that.
Yeah, it's fine. You can do it at any time. But it is one thing that is strange. That suggestion came when you approach accused number 3. You did not perform that when you're doing it to accused number 1 and 2, correct?
That's correct. I did not perform that. And when I was at home looking at this thing, and at work also, I looked at this thing and I looked at the possibility. Then I said, but let me also do this and see if I can find anything from there.
All right. So this thing came after you've done that exercise from accused number 1 and number 2.
That's correct, my Lord. I did that with accused number 3 and also with accused number 4.
So were you aware of did you have the knowledge of the facts of this case? You didn't discuss the facts of this case with Brigadier Gininda?
The facts of the case on the crime scene itself. On the crime scene itself.
The facts of this case. The person who shot Senzo, when Senzo was shot, who was in the house, all things that are relevant relating to 636. We did not discuss with him. Driving from wherever, Silverton to Villeria, from Silverton to Protea, wherever, to Kalagabusha, to Lokop, you did not discuss this with Brigadier Gininda, the facts of the case.
My Lord, the facts of the case mean I don't know which facts of the case I will refer to. I will refer to what transpired inside the house, or how did I reconstruct the incident.
So you had decided, all right, let me just put it this way. When you heard about the death of Senzo Umeyiwa, it has been reported on the media that how Senzo was shot. So I'm saying to you, when you met Brigadier Gininda, did you have knowledge of the facts that transpired, either through the media or from any other person other than Brigadier Gininda?
My Lord, the facts that I had was that I did the reconstruction, and based on my findings on the reconstruction, those are all the facts that I have, where I was sure of my incident of the case.
And Captain Bentley, he did not brief you with the facts as to how this thing happened for you to process the crime scene. He did not brief you about the facts.
My Lord, I need clarity on which facts, because I don't know.
As to how Senzo was shot.
How Senzo was shot, that's how I could determine. That's how
Senzo was shot. I just want to know. If you were not briefed, it's fine. We'll move on. If you were not briefed, I can just leave it for argument, because you are a South African citizen, you work around Pretoria. So let's just leave it for argument. Let's move on. My concern is that when you approach accused number 3, the suggestion came from you with an attempt to assist Brigadier Gininda to find an alternative way of getting the suspect. That's when you suggested that you should look at a person who was injured. When it's your evidence that when he took out his shoe, then he told you that he was injured when he was playing football.
That is correct, Mother. That's what he told me.
I'll leave that for Mr. Mnisi to advance on it, but did he consent? Did he voluntarily say that to you?
That's correct. He voluntarily said it. The only thing that I've requested from you is that can you take off your shoes and your socks? I just want to check something on your legs.
Yes.
And that's when he said no. The scars that you can see on my legs are from my childhood when I was playing soccer out there.
So what was your response after he did that? What did you do after that? Or what did you say after he has taken out those?
Well, I didn't say anything. I continued to check, but I couldn't see any scars on your legs.
But I'm going back to the same question, to the same evidence that you said, if a person was closer to the person who shot, on the ground, could be injured. There was a possibility that even the person who was holding a firearm could have been injured by those, you said fragmented and cause damage to the next person. Was it possible that even the shooter could be injured?
That's correct, my lord. That possibility cannot be ruled out.
And after you have checked accused number 3 and you concluded that there were no injuries?
My lord, not necessarily that there were no injuries.
Yes.
I could not see any scars because the fragments would be very small. They could have created very small scars. And if you look at the time when we did the conducted test and the time of the incident, it's how many years passed. So the possibility that there could have been injuries and the wounds were healed and the scars were, because they were very small, I couldn't see them.
Based on what you are just saying now, the suggestion that you made to Brigadier Gininda, that means it was fruitless. It was fruitless because it didn't produce any results.
Not necessarily fruitless. If I could have seen something.
But you didn't find anything.
But because I didn't find anything.
That's correct.
It's the same as taking all the measurements. I took all the measurements to try and determine something, but I couldn't determine anything.
Thank you.
So it's not fruitless. If anything could have transpired, I would have said something about it. I would have said, this is what I could determine, this is the possibility or the likelihood.
Let's move to accused number 5. You went to where he was kept, and you said he refused to be checked. That's what you said.
That's correct, my lord.